So in today's webinar, we're going to have a look at Oracle and OTOsuite 4.75 and a couple of the new features, as well as a bit of an introduction and an overview, really. So we've made some changes within OTOsuite, and we can classify those really in 6 different ways. So first of all, it is going to be easy to use. It's going to be simpler. We're looking to follow hearing instrument technology. It's going to be more clinical. We want to improve fitting quality, and we want to facilitate consistency for each patient and between patients as well. So today we're going to focus on easier to use, simpler, and more clinical. So first of all, we're going to have a look at something that's going to make software simpler. So within OTOsuite, we have the ability to tailor our navigation panel to our specific needs so that we can show and hide plugins. Now, a plugin is an area of OTOsuite which is designed to be used with some of the different pieces of Otometrics equipment. So, for example, the video otoscope. We've got a plugin for the Capella, which is our otoacoustic emissions device, and under emittance, you will be using that with the Otoflex, for example. So depending on what equipment options you've got available and some of the test licenses as well, we can show and hide what's appropriate for you and relate that to the type of work that you're doing in your clinic and your specific patient pathway. This can all be managed within the configuration wizard in OTOsuite. So here we have the full navigation panel with all of the plugins and test options available. Already we can hide the audiometry tests that you don't have applicable, so the ones that you, for example, don't have the license available for, or if it's on a different device, and that can be configured within the configuration wizard. Within OTOsuite 4.75, we can now also hide the parts of the PMN testing that aren't applicable to your clinic. So this will help to streamline your departmental protocols and your patient pathways. These can, of course, be added back in as you become more confident with OTOsuite and all of the different tests. Or if you purchase additional equipment like the Capella or the Otoflex, we can reactivate the appropriate plugins on your navigation panel. So right here at the end, we've got a really simple one for a simple clinic setup where you don't need anything else cluttering your navigation panel. So we're just going to have a little look at how to configure it. So here we're just going to drop down and open up each of the different areas of OTOsuite, and you can see that if we've got them all there available to us, there's a massive list, and chances are you're not going to be using quite a few of those. So if we open the configuration wizard, you can see that we've got tick boxes next to each area of the software, and if you go and hit the configure button, you've got access to tick lists for each of the different types within audiometry. Same thing within PMM, each of the different test types you've got access to. So as we untick the different plugins, you'll see that those will disappear from our navigator panel. And if we go back in and go to configure audiometry, we can then untick the tests that we don't need or don't have access to. You'll see that the list is shrinking in our navigation panel and is just leaving us with tone and speech. We can then go in and configure PMN, and we can untick the particular parts of the PMM module that you don't want access to. So that's really, really simplified our navigator panel there for us. So we're just going to have a look at one of our features that makes OTOsuite easier to use, and this is called Quick View. So if we have one of our OTOCAMs, we can currently save a snapshot image to each patient's individual file. However, you've previously had to navigate two different parts within the software to use your OTOCAM with, for example, PMM. So to make OTOsuite easier to use, we have added in Quick View. This will give you access to your video otoscope within PMM. So it can be accessed remotely by pressing the button furthest from you on the OTOCAM, and this will provide a smoother workflow and doesn't need you to return to your desk to pick up your mouse and select all the different buttons on the screen. You can use this to have a look at probe depth, to assess the fit or positioning of a fin tube earpiece, as well as counselling the patient. You can use it to demonstrate button positions on the hearing aid, or to show them smaller details on the hearing aid, and you can even use it to look at the hard to see serial numbers that they tend to hide inside the hearing aids these days. So I've just got a little video here. So if you select the button on the button bar that looks like an eardrum, it will open up a round window. You can move it around your screen. You can drag the corner in and out from the bottom bottom right. There we're just having a look inside the hearing aid. And using the button on the OTOCAM or the red cross in the corner, you can then close that view. So you can incorporate that really, really nice and easily into your fitting protocols. To make OTOsuite more clinical, we have introduced a compression ratio overlay into PMM. So important speech cues are found in the peaks of the signals, but these can be reduced if we apply too much compression. And this is particularly important to consider when we have a patient with a reduced dynamic range. So it's quite an important thing for us to have a look at. This is available within the real ear or coupler, but you need to be in the aided response view type, and it will show you the compression ratio between the input and the output signal, which will actually differ a little bit from what you see in your fitting software. So from our PMM screen, if we come to the Overlays tab, you will find the compression ratio tick box. If we then start the signal, you'll see the measurements on screen. Within options, you can change from 1/3 octave to 1 octave intervals for your measurements. To conclude, I hope you'll agree that your workflow will be more streamlined and simpler to use, meaning that you'll need less time to achieve a better outcome for your patients, which, along with Quick View and the compression ratios display, will give the opportunity for improved counselling and fitting and a much more interactive experience for the patient, which will provide an enhanced service for your patients.